Yes. Good evening.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Welcome back.
I'm blasting the volume a little bit. Yeah. Hey, welcome everybody to the Vinnie and AJ podcast.
What's up?
We got
What's
some.
up?
Yeah. Good evening, AJ.
How you doing, Vinnie?
We have some graphics going to be changed. I'm sure you've seen the flames in the background. That was like catching fire. Our producer Jesse is dabbling around with a few things, looking out for the best interest of his podcasters. So, want to welcome you guys to the Vinnie Marino and AJ podcast. We're here at the Space Coast Podcast Studio in beautiful, rainy, traffic-flowed Suntree.
Traffic was terrible tonight. US 1 was bad.
Yeah, man. I noticed when I was coming across I-95, there was a backup heading south, so everybody was backing up into Wickham Road, which is already a horrible road, and then using probably US 1, the route you take.
Yep.
So
just a lot of people, man. Just a lot more people around here.
yeah, it's getting terrible. But soon we'll have our graphics changed on our page. AJ's joining forces. As we all know, AJ is the owner and general contractor for Beaumont Builders. It's always going to be displayed on our screen. And if you ever need of any needs of any remodels, new construction, old construction, anything done from the ground on up, man, this guy is the man for the job. He's a local independent contractor, and he does it all. He has his own crew, and he oversees everything. So yes, Beaumont Builders here locally out of Merritt Island, Florida. So I'd like to welcome AJ. How was your week? Real quick, we'll just dabble on that. Did you have a good weekend?
Yeah, it was good. We went and bought a car. We were talking about buying a car.
Yes,
so,
he showed me a beautiful.
My beautiful wife and I bought a. We leased a.
Hey, you got a business, right?
Yeah. That's what everybody keeps telling me. But
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, man. You know what though? Like we talked about before, leasing versus purchasing, man. If you were to purchase that same car, okay, and I guess the sticker on that was probably over 40, right? That thing.
Yep.
Okay. Yep. So say you wanted to finance it for 72 months. I think you could probably do 80 months now or 86 months or whatever. And you wanted to put down 10 grand, your payment's going to be over $500 a month.
Yeah.
But if you leased it, you put down minimal, keep your money, and you have the car, the same car.
That's it.
And you're walking away, and just, the mileage thing is not a big deal. Well, I'm tripping over crap here. The mileage is not a big thing, if it is, it's if you stay into an Acura, you'll be absorbing the miles somewhere else, and
right.
And you got out of there with a high end car with hopefully a low end price.
Yeah. Yeah, well, they did the whole thing. He started at the top.
And, you had to go back and forth, and I think I gave you some advice. You got to hold your ground and say, hey, that. And did that work?
It did. Sure did.
Because they always try. Do they do an interest rate or anything like that, or no? Or they just
they got down to the payment.
They just go to the payment.
What do you want to pay?
Is that what they asked you? And what'd you say?
Yeah. Well, by the end of it, it was basically like, "Well, make me an offer." And I made him an offer, and he's like, "I can't take that back there."
Yeah, you
can.
They're
gonna laugh at me. I said, "All right, well, I'm out of here."
And what I tell you, they don't want you to leave, huh?
Yeah. No, he didn't want to leave.
Yeah,
he didn't want to leave.
Uh-huh.
The guy was cool. The salesman, Joe Goodyear. Up there, he was actually on The Apprentice. He met Donald Trump a couple times.
Oh, really?
So he's got some pictures of him.
2020.
So I thought that was cool. So yeah, good guy. Go see him if you need an Acura.
So it's like a purplish color or blue with
like
black interior.
Blue,
you got black interior or what
red,
color interior?
Red and black.
Red and
wow, it's beautiful.
It's an RDX Acura. Boy, that's a good looking car.
Yep.
And soon there will be an Acura dealership here next to Lexus.
Sweet. They're
going to be building an Acura dealership. So you won't have to go to Orlando for anything, but I'm telling you, Acura is a phenomenal car. I used to own one. I owned an Acura TL back in 2000 and maybe 12. No, longer than that. It was 2004 or something like that. But it was a nice car. Then I had the Acura Legend. It was called an Acura Legend.
Acura Legend.
Oh, man. That was like the big bad boy. And then before that, I had an Acura Vigor.
Yeah.
Vigor, man. Oh, yeah. I was in Acura.
Those were sweet, too. Those are two doors, aren't they?
And I got rid of the Acura and went to a Mercedes-Benz the C-Class, went to that. And then I went into an SUV. And, dude, I can't tell you how many freaking cars I've owned. But, man, I'm glad for you, man. Well, I'm glad for Jill, man.
Yeah, it's Jill's car, so she's loving it. So.
Oh, did you get the windows tinted yet?
No, they came factory, but we'll probably do the fronts.
If you're going to get them tinted, man, go to the guy that I use. Unless you don't have a guy. Unless you have a guy. I use a guy over there in Cocoa, Jag.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, man. You know what they do? They do that laser tinting where they punch in your car code, whatever, and it cuts it itself. So you don't have some goofball with a razor and been drinking the night before and he's stumbling all through it, and you got all these spaces and stuff. And they guarantee, they lifetime guarantee, whatever.
Yeah.
You can, you know what I mean?
Everybody's
Those guarantees are bullshit.
Yeah, pretty much.
With lifetime guarantee, So let me start off by just welcome a few people that are already on board. Dawn, Mike, Michelle, and Julie. And that's your girl. That's your secretary.
That is, yeah.
Yeah, she's still around.
Fox.
Good.
Julie Fox.
Hey,
another week.
How you doing, Michelle? How's everything? We're gonna grab some grub after this, I assume, if you're still hungry. So, tonight's topic we're gonna be talking about these mass shootings that have been going on in this country, and it's not something new. I mean, it's more of an occurrence that's been going on, and it seemed to be has been increasing in numbers.
They're saying the new normal. It's the new normal.
Yes,
which is alarming.
Yes, it is not something that is surprising anymore. And I'll get into some of the facts that I've been researching, and they're saying that the statistics are grim, but there's a 60% chance, that today there will be at least one active shooter or mass shooting in the U.S., and there will be a 17% probability that there will be exactly 2 shootings in one day. So there's a 60% chance that an active shooter or a mass shooter, I keep saying active shooter, same thing, a mass shooting will occur in a day. Mm-hmm. Okay? So over this past weekend, there were 31 people killed, between the Dayton, Ohio, and the El Paso Walmart. Let's talk about the El Paso Walmart real quick. 31 people were killed. That's not counting all the people that were shot, wounded.
Yeah.
Okay. And from what I read, this clown, this idiot, asshole, piece of crap, scumbag, who just decided to come in and ruin people's lives in an instant. Okay. And do you know that he didn't even, from what I was reading, he didn't even pick the Walmart. He was going somewhere. I don't know where he was going, but he stopped at Walmart because he was hungry in El Paso. Wow. So he walks into Walmart, gets some food. They got it all. They got them all. And then he sees all the Hispanics in there. So he's like, you know what? This is the place to be. So he goes back out, gets an AK-47, and starts popping rounds. Okay? I don't even know how many rounds he got off, but 31 people ended up dying.
Did anyone return fire? Texas,
no. Yeah, you would think that's an open carry state,
right,
I believe. Yeah. It's a matter of being at the right place at the right time.
Right.
Because there's a lot of things where, a good guy with a gun happens to be in the right place.
That's the only thing that stops a bad guy with a gun is a good guy with a gun.
And that's what our sheriff says. The only thing that stops a bad guy with a gun is a good guy with a gun.
But the cops got there pretty fast, right?
Yes, but I don't know how they apprehended this guy. I don't think he made it out of the parking lot. I don't even know. But he didn't give any resistance to law enforcement. Usually when it comes to those people, they either kill themselves or they surrender peacefully. But it's kind of absurd that there things are going on as much as that. And the Dayton, Ohio one was a kid. He killed 9 people and wounded a boatload, of people. Now that was I'm telling you right now, man, there's a video going around that shows the surveillance videos of this actual incident. Yeah. And let me tell you something. It was like herding cattle. These people were running all into this bar. Mm-hmm. They were by the dozens running in this bar, running almost. They would have been stuck like the Pulse shooting. Yeah. They were all running in there. And it appears to me that area is sort of like downtown Orlando, and they have off-duty cops there, doing security there. So right around the corner from where all these people, they heard the shots. It was some of those videos, and if you haven't seen it, if you have and it's something that everybody should take a glance at because it's reality, man. You want to know what it's like. You don't want it, but what it sounds like when a gun's going off. People will think, oh, it sounded like firecrackers. No. Pop bottles. I'm like, okay. And the last time I was in the mall, I've never heard anybody pop off firecrackers. Yeah. Okay. 4th of July, okay, the day before. But in the month of August, nobody's going to be lighting off firecrackers in a busy area.
Yep.
So this guy was popping rounds. He was a kid. Oh, he was 20. I think he graduated in 2017. Popping rounds. People are all running. He's chasing them down. I mean, he's stalking them. So they all turn into this club. And as he's turning to go into that club, you could see him. He's all black. He's got a black mask on. And right when he was turning to go into the doors, the cops were, you could see the video, the surveillance from where the police officers were, because they had a surveillance camera over there. And it showed them, like, you could tell they were hearing the shots. And they were, let me tell you something. Anybody that talks shit about cops, you look at that goddamn video, look at 9/11 when it pertains to first responders. These people were running away, and who was running towards the danger?
Absolutely.
Okay? All these cops running towards danger. That's why so many were killed in 9/11 in the tower. That's why so many people were saved in this one, in the Dayton, Ohio, because the cops ran, and just as this guy was going in the door, there's probably 3 or 4 of them. They blew this guy to smithereens.
Good.
They stopped him just dead short of the doorway, and he laid there dead. Okay? If it hasn't been for those cops, okay? And you know what?
They'd all been dead inside there.
I've heard so many and even my son, my 16-year-old son, made mention of this. He's because there's a lot of it on the news, and he's watching it, and he's going, Dad, not once have I heard him have the cops all up there and praised what they did. There's some, but not as much as, the civilians who did, I was doing this and I was doing that, the medical team. Right. But
that's the media. That's the mainstream media.
If it wasn't for those cops, there would have been another Pulse nightclub shooting. Easy. There probably would have been 100 people dead.
Yeah, he had a couple hundred rounds on him. 250 rounds or something.
And what gets me is this other piece of shit, who I'm not going to name a name, which I don't even know his name because it's no concern. He's just a piece of shit. He had everything after the fact. All the people, all the kids in high school. Oh, his ex-girlfriend. I've seen so many red flags. He was showing me these horrific videos of people being slaughtered, and everybody else. Oh, we've seen him in school, and he had a hit list, and he had this. Nothing was done.
Yeah.
Okay? Nobody wants to say that. All this comes out after the fact. I mean, he had a hit list in his school, and then he had a list of people, the women he wanted to rape, the people he wanted to kill. So I'm telling you, man.
What kind of drugs was he on?
I don't think he was on any.
He had to be.
I don't think he was on any, AJ.
Yeah.
I don't think he was on any. I don't know if he had any mental illness, but I'm telling you right now, mental illness and hatred, pull the trigger, not the gun. Okay? They say some of the mass shooters had mental illnesses, but the majority of them had none. They're just hatred. They're just, I don't know what goes through their head. And then once they shoot one person, their mind goes into this frenzy. Sort of like, like a shark. Once they bite and they see blood, how fish go into a frenzy? Mm-hmm. These people go into a frenzy, and they just can't stop pulling the trigger. It's unbelievable. So they were also saying that that only a small fraction of those people had mental illness. So then they want to blame it on, they're video games. The video games are violent, but I think millions and millions of people play video games, adults as well. Right. Don't blame it on just the kids and video games, because adults play them too. Mm-hmm. Okay? I haven't played them in a while, but I'm not talking 30 years ago. I played them within the last couple years.
Right.
And I have a friend who plays it he goes online with other guys, and they play like Call of Duty and all kinds of other stuff. So I don't, do you think, I know the video games do show pretty graphic stuff, and they are graphic, and they're marked mature only, but we know how far that goes. Mm-hmm. You see kids, 10 years old playing these violent army games, and my son plays weird games, but I don't know. I think it's more of a hatred about everything. These kids some of them have these illnesses, man.
Yeah.
Either they were hated in school, but there's so many different shootings, mass shootings that are. I have a list, and I can't even scroll through the list of how many mass shootings there are. Okay, since 2014, there's been 334 mass shootings per year on average in the United States. This is based on the Gun Violence Archives. Okay, a mass shooting event is described as at least 4 people were killed or injured. So that's a mass shooting. 4 people killed or injured. Okay, so this shooting in El Paso happened on August 3rd. Okay, there were 22 people dead. There were 24 people injured, which is a total of 46. Okay, then on August 4th, there were 10 people dead. They got 10 now because one just died. It was 9, so they upped it to 10. 27 injured, that's 37. And then, here we go, August 4th, the same day as Dayton, Ohio. I could go on, AJ, I can't even get to the bottom of this list to get to the first of the year. Yep. Okay, in Chicago, Illinois, on the next day, or the same day as at Dayton, Ohio, 7 people were wounded in a drive-by shooting, and guess where? Chicago, Illinois. Mm-hmm. Okay? On the same day, August 4th. Another, 1 person dead, 7 injured. Okay? 1 person was killed and 7 others were injured in another shooting in the Lawndale community. Guess where? Chicago, Illinois. August 4th, again, in Grenada, Mississippi. 4 people were shot in an overnight shooting, were discovered wounded in an overnight shooting. Okay? We're not even done with August 4th yet. In Memphis, Tennessee, 1 man was killed, 3 people were shot and injured in an early morning shooting. Then we're into August 5th. Now, these things don't ever get publicized because it's not great numbers.
Right.
You know? So you have August 5th. 1 person was killed, 3 people were wounded after a large fight broke out following a funeral service in Mississippi. Wow. Okay. So, wait a minute. And then there were, I think I missed August 5th as well, 4 people shot and were injured during a candlelight vigil in Brooklyn, New York. Now, those things you don't hear about. I mean, you might hear them on the news, but the day before the El Paso, they had 3 people shot and killed, 1 injured. A man shot and killed his in-laws and wounded an 11-year-old boy sitting in a relative's car before committing suicide. Okay? This day before as well. 2 men were killed and 2 women and a 2-year-old were wounded at multiple crime scenes in Suffolk, Virginia. So, you know, we're not excluding, and I'm just trying to see some other major ones that might have came up throughout, but I'm telling you, this is just July and August, and it just goes on and on and on. But, you know, we're also, what's no longer safe anymore is our schools for mass shootings. Mm-hmm. And then just recently, did you hear about it over in Merritt Island? There was some freaking guy said there was gonna be a mass shooting at the Merritt Island Mall.
I was at that Walmart at that time when.
Well, at the Walmart or the mall?
I was at the Walmart. He called it into Walmart in Merritt Island.
Oh, the Walmart. That's right.
I just read this. 41-year-old. He said a bunch of guys were coming down to shoot up the store. So. Yeah, and that's unbelievable. Also, since 2014, there have been 484 individual days with 2 or more mass shootings. On 407 of those days, at least 1 person was killed. And that doesn't involve events like this past weekend where the shootings happened within a 24-hour period. So, and these were on consecutive days. So it's not that, I mean, that doesn't include the 2. And how many people were that? That was 30. Oh my God. This list is so long. It's just, it's eye-opening, you know, and people need to hear the facts and reality. So that means there was between 53 people total shot, killed, injured. 53 in 2 days. Just in those 2 incidents alone. So the deadliest mass shooting in the United States history, you know which one that was? Anybody? I'll narrow it down. In 2017. The Pulse.
Nope. Vegas. There you go. In Las Vegas. Okay. In 2017, 59 people were killed. That's not counting how many were injured. And that guy, another one, you know, I mean, who knows what the hell these people are going through. And that says, and that wasn't even the only incident that day. 3 people were killed and 2 injured in a shooting in Lawrence, Kentucky on the same day. But we didn't hear about that. So another fact is during the typical 8-hour shift at work for anybody, okay, during an 8-hour day, there is a 1 in 4 chance that at least 1 mass shooting incident will occur and 3% possibility that there will be 2 mass shootings in an 8-hour workday. So it's evident that we have serious issues. And what are people blaming again? They're blaming, they're going to be battling NRA. They want to go out there. These Democrats, okay, Cory Booker today was in North Carolina or South Carolina at a church talking about gun stuff, this and that, and speaking. They're using these horrific deaths as a platform for their political campaign. Yep. Okay, and they want to talk about stripping gun violence, stripping guns from people. Going on, some of these Democrats want to go on people's doors, knock on their doors, and confiscate their firearms, their high capacity, machine guns and stuff. And come on, man, let's get real. I mean, it ain't. I mean, how far are they going to take this? When they can't keep blaming video games, they can't keep blaming the gun, they can't keep blaming Donald Trump. Because I tell you right now, man, Reagan was talking about this same thing, about gun control, about, that it ain't the people, it's the people, not the guns. Mm-hmm. And you're battling the NRA, which is, and there was a thing that they had, Ronald Reagan was speaking on behalf of, this was years ago, and I can't remember. It was on an article thing. My brother Nick said, wish they would have kicked his eye out like the cop killer Lloyd that they apprehended in Orlando. Yeah. He's trying to sue them for excessive force because he lost his eye. I tell you what, man, that's another guy. I mean, that was almost a mass shooting because he killed a police officer, his girlfriend, and then the baby.
Yeah, that was 3.
So they consider this statistical. Yeah, they consider four people injured, wounded, whatever, shot, killed, is a mass shooting. And let's not forget about schools, man. Schools used to be the safe haven. Schools, churches, not anymore.
Because they know you can't carry guns in there.
Well,
they're not going to get
depends.
confronted.
I'll tell you right now, that shit goes down in this county. They're ready, man, because they got armed, security. They got armed law enforcement. They got their. I'll tell you what. This sheriff took a very proactive stance, and he depleted a lot of positions to get people filled in these schools. Yeah. He gave a commitment to the community, and he said, I'm going to do something about it. And there's a lot of other sheriffs. And this agency is like the platform for other departments that are starting to see what we're doing here in this county.
That's good.
And they're starting to look and say, hey, what are we going to do? I think Palm Beach County still has their own. They have their own school security police. They have their own police department, school board police. So, that's something that's. I don't know if they'll ever do that here because it does take a lot of manpower, to fill these schools. I mean, because they're constantly building schools, and every time they build a school, you got to put somebody in there. But they put these armed, plainclothes. They're usually retired cops. I actually was going to look to get into it, but there's no openings. And they give them guys more training than you would believe. Yeah. You would believe these cops are all say if there's something going down, they want to be behind that school security. They call them a guardian or whatever, but they're completely trained. No business, constantly shooting, doing active shooting training, constantly, more than law enforcement's doing. Yeah. So they're completely ready, but you can give everybody all the tools you need, but it all depends on.
I saw something on the news too. They're getting some new security software that can recognize a gun and alert the appropriate authorities a lot faster than.
Yeah, it was some kind of something. I seen that, but God, man, you know how much that's got to cost. But you know what? What's the cost of saving a life? Right. Because I'll tell you right now, I don't think teachers are sitting easy pretty well. Teachers are sitting pretty well in schools anymore because, they don't feel safe. Right. I don't care, even with an SRO there, because look what happened down in Parkland. There was an SRO there, and it still happened. I mean, these high schools are big, but he still could have prevented a lot of stuff. So they're really starting to make sure that, once you get into an active shooter situation, you got to make sure, that person reacts well. And if he doesn't react well, just think every probably half a second somebody's losing a life. And when these guys are going in there, they're not going in with a pop gun. They're going in there with high-powered rifles with fully stoked magazines and reloaded magazines, and they have more than one gun. So I don't know, man. I'll tell you, I believe that one of these days, it's you can't stop it, and as much as you do with gun control, because the scumbags, they don't care about gun control.
They break the law now.
Yeah,
so
it doesn't affect them.
laws.
You can strip all the guns you want from the good guys, but the bad guys, they don't care.
Right.
They've never followed the law, so you're not gonna have them worried about it because they're still, what they say. Remember they used to have a bumper sticker. Producer Jesse makes. Remember if guns were outlawed, then only outlaws would have guns. Yeah. So, I think we're coming to our first recess. We're going to take a quick couple minute break. I'm going to finish up my little can of beer. I had to have it today, man. I had a little spasm in my back today just from bending over. Not doing anything, just bending over. That's usually when you get a backache, when you don't do anything. Hey, we'll be right back. Just tune in. Don't go away.
You're listening to Space Coast Podcast, home of the greatest podcasts on the Space Coast. If you're interested in becoming a sponsor or having your own show, email us at spacecoastpodcast@hotmail.com. Space Coast Podcast. Talk hard!
Hey, make sure you check out Space Cowboy Justice with your hosts, Blake Stewart and Paul Daly. We're going to be talking about interesting legal issues in the entertainment industry and everything geek. If you're into Star Wars, Star Trek, Lord of the Rings, comic books, we're talking about it. Coming at you from the Space Coast Podcast Studios.
All right. This is Doug Monda.
This is Karen Monda.
And Chris Hadaway.
And we're the host of Survive, the new podcast brought to you by the Survive First Foundation, a nonprofit organization assisting first responders and their families in need of mental health support due to the lifestyle of being a first responder. So, Chris, tell us what we're going to have.
We're coming to you from retired and active law enforcement officers as well as their spouses to discuss the responder life.
Don't forget, this is an unedited and raw podcast, so we need your interactive suggestions and advice to help us help others.
So find us live on our Survive First Facebook page and join in the conversation, or find us on demand on Spotify, iTunes, or anywhere you listen to podcasts from the Space Coast Podcast Network to you.
Hey, welcome back. We're talking about the mass shootings that have been going on in this country and the amount of them and everything else. I hear that the Dallas Cowboys, I think it's Jerry Jones, is donating $50,000 to the foundation in El Paso to help the families and victims. And I think the NFL Foundation and the Dallas Cowboys. So I think they're looking at about a total of $100,000 being donated to the El Paso shooting victims, which is nice. I think you're going to see a lot more coming out.
Yep.
Did you know, AJ, that the amount of mass shootings across the U.S. so far in 2019 has outpaced the number of days this year, according to the Gun Violence Group?
Wow.
This puts 2019 on pace to be the first year since 2016 with an average of with the average of more than one mass shooting a day.
Wow.
And the violence is, even law enforcement deaths and law enforcement suicides. Okay. Now these things are it all stays around the same thing. Mm-hmm. They have first responders who respond to these incidents. Okay. And just because the Walmart guy stopped shooting and, the cops still have to go in there and you see them on the Dayton, Ohio. They're treating people. They're with a fluid scene. Okay. And they're affected by it. Yeah. There was the guy
Was it the Army guy that was in the Walmart or dragging kids to safety in the Walmart? And he was on a news broadcast, and he was emotional.
Yeah, I'm sure.
It affects people, and then the one kid said that he was him and his dad were in the store, and his dad died right in his arms. You know, this kid. He said every time he closed his eyes, he sees his dad's eyes just staring at him. The aftermath, it doesn't stop. You know, the news might stop reporting it. They'll have memorials, but these people, and this is goes around to, the new podcast that's going to be starting Monday nights here. Who was on my show, Doug Monda. He's starting his own podcast, and it's going to be primarily focusing on first responders and post-traumatic stress and the stresses of, being in law enforcement or or firefighters and everything, because firefighters deal with it too.
Did you see New York City today? The motorcycle that
backfired
and
yes,
sent whole crowds of people running away.
I tell you right now, I carry everywhere. Okay, I carry right here.
Not New York City.
My shit's in the car right now. Okay, but I think I'm safe here inside the podcast studios, but I always say the first time you feel safe, you become a victim. Right. Never feel safe. Always be on your guard. What do you got there, AJ?
What do you think about the death penalty for these mass shooters?
Oh my God, that's not even a question.
The Walmart guy, I say.
But
just
is there a death
up,
penalty in Texas?
Hang him in the middle of the street. That's what I.
Yeah.
Let's bring that back.
But you know what? There'll be some liberal crying bastards who will say, "Oh, don't blame him. He had mental illness. Oh, he played video games. Oh, it's the gun's fault. Oh, Donald Trump, it's his fault because he was parading the immigrants around, and this guy, basically that's what they were saying, that this guy was taking all the stuff that Donald Trump was tweeting and going out there and saying, you know what, yeah, fuck these bastards.
Ludicrous.
You know what I mean?
The guy's a terrorist.
And all this does is give a platform for these Democratic candidates who are running for president, and they're going to use that against the president. Okay. As of August 5th, which was the 217th day of the year, there have been 255 mass shootings in the United States. Wow. That's
hard to believe.
The toll of 255 mass shootings include 5 high-profile massacres in the past 8 days in which more than 100 people have been shot. This is unbelievable. Again, people want to blame, instead of blaming the person, they want to give him some kind of credit. Well, I think everybody that does something is in their right mind. And then I believe once the shooting takes place, then I think they go out of an out of mind context. You know what I mean? I think they're just in a frenzy. Like I said, when a shark attacks. Yeah. But it's the people were commenting that this county is ready. Okay, this county is ready as they can be, because there's an armed person, I think, in every school. And when there's not an armed person, they post it for deputies to work overtime in the school to cover the school, and they pay them well. St. Petersburg has a school; they have school police as well. They have their own police department. That could be coming here. But you know what? Brevard County seems to be so freaking behind times, and it ain't gonna happen here. It ain't gonna happen here. I mean, it can happen anywhere. So, the last time the mass shooting told top days of the year was 2016, which had 382 mass shootings. I don't know when the Parkland was last year, right? That wasn't this year. It's been a year, yeah. And guess what? And like I said, and Las Vegas, 59 people killed. People out there having a good time. That's why I'm telling you. And Universal, which pisses me off, is Universal in Orlando. They don't allow off-duty cops to carry guns on their properties. They have gun-sniffing dogs, because we were there last year, middle of last year, or early last year, maybe a year and a half ago, and we were there with a bunch of cops, I didn't carry in there. I just didn't carry in there because I just didn't feel like being inconvenienced by carrying a gun.
Mm-hmm.
So because I was going to be drinking a little bit, but two of the people in our group had guns on them, and we're walking through the crowd. It's crowded, and then they're stopped. I'm like, what the hell? Well, they had a dog sniffing them, and they said, yeah, they sniffed ammunition, basically the ammo.
Wow.
Yeah. So they said, hey, we're cops. And they said, sorry, can't have it.
Wow.
This was before I retired. And they said, can't have it on our property. Not even an Orange County deputy who's off duty can't carry there.
Mm.
So they said, you can either put it in a locker or you can take it to your car or leave.
Mm-hmm.
So they left. I mean, they had an incident, like Amway Arena. You cannot carry a gun in there if you're a cop.
Mm-hmm.
And most cops won't go in there because of that.
Yeah.
So if you're taking guns away from these people, and let me tell you something, they don't screen you going into Universal. Now, I'm not talking about the parks. They screen you at the parks. But this is the downtown, what is that called? City Place?
Walk, yeah.
No, we were in Orlando. I'm sorry. We were in Disney. We were in downtown Disney. Yes, downtown Disney. I'm sorry. But Universal's the same way. But downtown Disney, with all those people, okay, anybody can get a gun in there. And just think how many people are there.
Mm-hmm.
And if you don't, I mean, I don't want to be, I'm always vigilant. I mean, I kind of try to keep vigilant and look to see, and people need to do that, man. If you see somebody that comes, you're in Walmart, you're anywhere, and you see somebody that's just carrying a backpack or a big bag, duffel bag, and just keep an eye on these people, man, because you never know, man. It's, especially the malls, anywhere there are large groups of people. Yep. And I was watching this thing, and they were talking about now they're attacking Walmart now because they were saying that town where this shooting happened, it's a small town, but there were 5,200 calls of service at that Walmart in a year. It's just like our Walmart here. Mm-hmm. They were saying that Walmart now, they're showing all these videos of fist fights. Everything that goes on is happening in Walmart. Mm. I tell you why, because look at the people that go there. No shit. I mean, I go to Walmart, and I see people that I'll never see in Publix. I don't give a fuck. They will. I shit you not. Even the employees. These fuckers have mohawks, purple hair. I mean, just they're crazy looking. And the people, and I'm not discriminating. I sort of am, I guess. But these people, I mean, you're always going to have. I was there one day in the evening, and there was a guy who, I guess he lost his daughter. It sounded like he didn't even have a daughter. It was like he was going crazy, running through the store, screaming, hollering, and everybody's getting afraid. Everybody's scared. I went over there, and I said, I'm going to tackle this motherfucker.
Really?
Because I don't know what he's going to do.
Yeah.
He was like, I can't find my daughter. And he's running around the store, running up like a lunatic. Well, apparently he left her in the car, and then she got out of the car and was in the store somewhere, and he couldn't find her.
Wow.
Shame on him. But, I mean, I was almost going to tackle this bastard and settle him down because who knows what this guy was going to do.
Yeah.
And people, they instead of them trying to, keep an eye on things, they just walk with blinders on, man, and they don't pay attention to the type of people that are walking right next to them.
Yep.
I mean.
Yeah, you got to pay attention.
Oh.
Be aware of your surroundings.
I guarantee you somebody could have intervened with this guy. I'm surprised out there in that downtown Dayton that nobody had a gun and to shoot besides the cops, or in Walmart. I tell you right now, I fucking carry every time in Walmart. I don't care if I got.
Is Ohio a state? I don't think so. I don't know. Do they?
Well, they're looking to authorize now the off-duty or the concealed permit to carry across state lines now. Well, see, I have a...
That's crazy that you could drive all the way up to New York, and then you cross New York, and you're a criminal.
Well, I have... Yeah, I don't even know if it pertains to off-duty cops or retired cops, because I have an off-duty or retired badge, retired credentials that allows me to carry, anywhere. So it's even more powerful than the conceal. I have a CCW as well. Mm-hmm. But they were saying that...
So you can carry in New York State then?
I don't know.
Yeah.
That's the strictest with gun laws.
Yeah.
I mean, remember that rapper or somebody got shot himself? Or was it an athlete? Shot himself in the leg and he got freaking arrested for it?
Plexico Bird.
Yeah.
From the Giants.
Yeah, the Giants. Yeah. He shoots himself and then you think, oh, that's not bad enough. Now he's going to get freaking arrested. So, But I'll tell you what, the Walmarts are out of control. This Walmart over here in Preppy Town, Vieira, I tell you right now, like I was saying, I make sure I carry, if I'm wearing gym shorts, I don't care. I'll put that bitch on my waist and it'll be sagging down, but I'm carrying in Walmart. I'll carry my backpack. I'll put it in a backpack, Fanny pouches are like so outdated now. Most of the times they got so many different concealed carries now, methods, that they're really good. But I'll tell you, sometimes I just don't like carrying it because it's a 45. I got a compact 45. Yeah. But I'll tell you, man, that damn thing, man, it's like shooting having a damn like a popcorn machine. Pop, pop, pop. That thing is so compact and so powerful. Yeah. I'm looking to change it out, because you want to be accurate. I mean, even if you lay rounds, lay lead down, anytime you can disrupt one of those active shooters, man, their whole plan goes whack. Yeah. They don't expect any resistance. Right. But yeah, Walmart is like the highest crime store ever. And they're stupid because they have the most high-tech systems for surveillance in there. I mean, you're better off cheating in Las Vegas than ripping off a pair of underwear at Walmart because they have I've been back in their security division when I was, arresting people for shoplifting. And I tell them, are you stupid? Are you the systems they got? But they don't care. They think they get away with it, man. Yeah. Now, do you have a off-duty carry? You have a
concealed carry, yeah.
Do you carry?
Yeah. Not as much as I should.
Come on, man. Yeah. My brother carries. He has a little small one he puts right in his pocket. Yeah. If you don't have, and they were saying in Texas, they were interviewing a Texas gun owner, and he said that day alone they sold 15 guns. Yeah. Afterwards. Oh, wow. I'm telling you, people need to start recognizing, man, these are, the right to bear arms, and good people, good upstanding citizens should have guns. Sure. Because you can't be a sheep. Nobody wants to be a sheep. And, there was one girl that was killed. She was covering her, I think she was in the military. She was covering her, infant daughter, shielding her, and then got shot. I don't want to be the one that's curled in a corner or not be able to fight for my own self or others. Yeah. I keep an eye, like when I go through the mall, I carry in malls, I carry in Walmart, I carry in any store you could, anywhere, because you never know where it's going to happen. Mm-hmm. If there's a large group of people, you got a possibility of something happening because some asshole, and it could be a deranged boyfriend, husband, and anybody that gets in the way, they're going to get shot. And like I said, they might be intentionally going to shoot one person, but then, they get into that frenzy and people, but there's a lot more people that do interact but when you got a shooter and you don't have a gun, it's, if you can, element of surprise, if you can hide, whatever, man, you're going to have to try to defend yourself because it's just bad news, man.
Fight or flight.
Oh yeah. My cousin was saying that he was watching a guy at Senior Frogs in the Bahamas acting weird. I'm telling you, these people stand out. Mm-hmm. Usually they could be sweating profusely. They're wearing clothing that's not indicative to the weather. Or here's another tidbit, man. You can carry it in your car. You don't have to have a concealed weapons permit. Yeah. They say the 3-step method. Just as long as you have it in a case, you don't have it. The key word is readily accessible. You don't want the gun to be readily accessible. Then you're in violation of the law. A holster. You don't want to have it sitting next to you, shoved in your seat. If it's in a holster and it's in your glove box, it could be in a shoe box, and just in a shoe box and like on the floor. As long as it's not readily accessible within your proximity on your person and your seat, and it's like on the floor right there, that's readily accessible.
But then that doesn't help when you need it.
Well, yeah, it does. Well, what doesn't help is people go, I got it, but I don't keep it loaded. Why not? Yeah. If you have a gun, every gun that you have is suspected to be loaded by anybody, by any cop's means. So, and then they go, well, I don't keep one in the chamber. I keep one in the magazine, but I don't keep one in the chamber. Why not? Because when shit hits the fan, you're going to, your motor skills go to hell, and you're not going to be able to rack around in there. And if you do, it's going to be half-assed, limp-wristed, and then you're going to get a freaking stovepipe or a double feed, and then you're fucked if you don't know how to clear it.
Yep.
We train on that, on clearing malfunctions. So we know, how to do it in a stressful situation. But there's a lot of time, these people have guns and they keep them in their car, but they don't keep them loaded. I'm like, they keep the magazine out. It's like it's pretty in a box. I'm like, well, it's useless. You might as well throw it at them.
Yeah.
So if you if you have a gun, I'm telling you, AJ, if you have a concealed weapons permit, I would keep one on me at all times.
Yeah, you're right.
I don't care.
You're right.
I mean, there's a lot of lunatics. You're driving down the road and you blow the horn at somebody, and to that's like a death wish.
Yeah.
They get out of the car and they want to kill you.
Yeah.
And you don't get out and confront him. You just sit in your car. If he wants to break your window in and try to yank you out, then you got an issue. But people, then he comes at you with a bat because you blew the horn at him. Guess what? If you have no other avenue of escape, now you're in a deadly force.
That's it.
So, if they come at you, but the key is, when these people have areas to get away. If you have an avenue of escape, they want you to use it. If you can get away, if you can, avoid, but eventually you're going to if you get cornered, then you got to do what you got to do to protect yourself. But I'm telling you, there's been a few of these where off-duty or concealed weapons people had solved problems. There was one where a cop was getting his face kicked in on a traffic stop or in the middle of the highway, and some guy came up and shot the guy on top of him. I mean,
good guys with guns.
Yeah, that's the only way to stop it. So if anybody had a concealed, there might have been somebody who had a concealed carry that night and had a gun or had a gun in Walmart, but just were afraid to do anything.
Possibly didn't want to get in trouble. And
well, yeah, I just think they don't know. I just don't think they know. Or who knows? You gotta get training. Yeah, if they don't get training, if you don't receive remedial training on a handgun, it's amazing how these bad guys can run down the street at full speed, not even look back, turn the gun sideways, upside down, fire 3 rounds, and hit a cop. And cops are trained. They take remedial classes. They take tactical classes. And they shoot at these son of a bitches, and they hit them maybe, sometimes they don't even hit them. It's crazy. I don't get it. These scumbags, they seem to have the luck of the draw when it comes to, and if a cop gets hit in the leg, guess what? They're bleeding out. These bad guys get shot 6-7 times, and they somehow survive. I just don't know how this guy in El Paso survived. I don't know what happened. If he turned himself in, if he was there on the scene.
I heard he was in the car waiting, and he just came out.
I think he was just waiting.
I don't think when these cops got going into it, knew what the inside was like. Oh. Hey, I want to say hi to Karen Monda. I hear you're on. I see you on. I want to congratulate you guys. I think you're all out in Seattle. I don't know if you are, but Doug is, or Spokane, or somewhere in Washington. But I want to congratulate you guys on your up-and-coming show. It was your little promo was put up on my page during the break. We had it playing. So I want to congratulate you guys, and I bet it's going to be an exciting show. I like that you guys are going to be unedited, which is good, because when you're unedited and you don't have it's true. It's raw, and there's no makeup. There's no bullshitting around. I'm eating a tent.
That's right. I see Shad's on. What's up, Shad?
Take the mic, AJ. I'm going to eat a tangerine real quick. I'm going to read some of the comments.
About to get whooped up in some fantasy football over there.
Hey, Shad, how you doing, man?
You guys do any fantasy football, anything like that?
Not anymore.
Yeah.
No. I don't do fantasy football anymore. Oh, Karen, you're back to work. God bless you, man. Wow. Another year. Oh.
Speaking of back to work, my wife's back to work, so that's good. Pretty stressful down there. So they're taking tests and all kinds of stuff. Evicor, it's some nursing thing.
Oh, she's still doing nursing stuff?
Yeah, but she's going to be on the phones and taking phone calls.
Oh.
That kind of stuff.
I got to get with her next couple days, or, well, maybe this weekend if the weather's decent, and I got to get some photos. Yeah, so I got to set up something with her.
Yep. She's ready.
Yeah. Julie's asking, where's the video surveillance from Walmart? I trust you. They have it, but I think it's too graphic to show. They'll use that for court purposes and prosecution stuff. But, you know, the one in Dayton, you know, because, you know, they wanted to show basically what the cops did and how it was resolved real quick. Mm-hmm. But I can't even imagine, you know, this little bastard in El Paso. I mean, he walks in there nonchalant. He went in there just to get food.
Yeah.
He wasn't even intending on. Yeah, he had headphones on. He had earmuffs on. I mean, that son of a bitch. And what are they going to do? They're going to blame, you know, all kinds of shit. Mm-hmm. But he's just a wacko. I don't know what. I don't hear too much about him. I know he's in a lockup in jail. But let me see here.
I read something else. There was a guy that just got let out of prison on an early release, and then carjacked somebody and killed him.
What was that?
Guy got let out early release from prison somehow, and carjacked a lady and killed her.
Jesus Christ!
You know,
I'm telling you, anybody that's listening, if you don't have a concealed weapons permit, because I'm telling you right now, if you don't get it, if the Democratic Party gets in as president and run the White House, you're going to see big changes. You're going to see them. They're going to want to stop everything. Mm-hmm. They're going to want to stop all this people getting guns in your hands, and you might as well get it, because eventually they're going to try to put a stop to it. As long as we can, you know, they're going to battle the NRA, which the NRA's, they're proving it. There was more guns back then, and there was no such thing as, you know, nobody blamed the gun. Mm-hmm. You know, never blamed the gun. So, but if you need one, I'm telling you, take a course. Go to these gun shows, gun shops. Mm-hmm. They take a course. You get your background run. You get fingerprints and all kinds of shit, and get a gun. Women, keep it in your purse. Mm-hmm. You know, I suggest women. I'd like to see women. They always get the little revolvers because they don't jam. Mm-hmm. They get hammerless, so you can put it in your purse and you don't get snagged taking it out. But especially women, because, you know, the women are preyed upon, unfortunately, and a woman can defend herself. And if they, and then we got a gun range. You got gun ranges in all these towns. Go there and shoot. It's fun. People would rather go to that fucking Top Golf and hit fucking golf balls and drink beers and have a great time hitting 900 golf balls when you can go to the goddamn gun range and shoot. You know, it's not that expensive.
Blow off some
and
steam.
Yeah, and be proficient. You can't drink alcohol and shoot, but I mean, it's people go there on a Friday night and they go there. They have dinner. Yeah. Over here in our it's called Frog Bones. They have great food. They have a great range. You can rent guns. You don't even have to own a gun. Go in there and rent it.
Where's that at?
Right there on US 1.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Never heard of it.
Oh my God.
Frog Bones.
Frog Bones.
Nice.
Yeah, they go in there. They can. I mean, it's a great. You can rent any gun you want.
Nice.
They got rifles you can rent, machine guns, rent whatever, and shoot. Okay, and that's how you become proficient. Because people don't. They're afraid of that first trigger pull. They don't know what it's going to do. The reaction, the recoil. They don't want it to. But I'm telling you, we need to start defending ourselves and defending the people that you love.
Absolutely.
Because if you're in Walmart and you're with your kids, women, and you're pushing a cart or whatever, and you got the kids, and you hear pop, 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 you can defend yourself. Mm-hmm. I mean, if the threat's coming at you, I mean, or you could duck, hide, whatever, and then take a few rounds at him. Mm-hmm. He ain't gonna. He's just gonna run when he knows he's getting shot back at.
Yeah.
You disrupt their plan. So, I recommend it. Men too. Mm-hmm. And then when you get it, go to the shooting range, shoot, get proficient with it. Mm-hmm. This way, when you start laying some lead down at the guy, you hit him. Mm-hmm. And like I said, it could be in a what do they call that? Road rage. It could be in a road rage. I mean, you got a guy who's coming at you and smashing your car, dragging you out, kicking the shit out of you. And if this guy is beating your ass, or a person is beating your ass to a point where you're losing consciousness, and you can get to your gun and shoot him, you're in within standards. Yep. I mean, you're about ready to be dead when this guy pulverizing you.
Yeah,
or
Jill shoots. Julie's asking. Jill shoots. She's a better shot than I am.
Mm-hmm. I mean, it's a good thing to do. Go with couples. Make it a date night.
Yep.
Hey, you know what? We're going to go shoot. We're going to have dinner, or we're going to go shoot and then have dinner. That's drinks. But you can't drink and shoot there.
Right.
But I'm telling you, I recommend everybody to get, their concealed carry, because the only way we're going to stop this freaking bullshit is somebody that has a gun that's not afraid to use it, because some people have them. They're just afraid to use it too. They have it on them, but they're afraid to get involved. And if they research and start reading laws and being proficient on handguns, I'm telling you, the life you save may be your own.
True.
I'd hate to see somebody die that's a concealed carry holder, and either they didn't have a gun on them or they didn't use it, or it's another one of those where, oh, I keep a gun on me, but I don't keep it loaded. I keep one out of the chamber. I don't put one in the chamber. Why not? That's the most idiotic thing I've ever heard in my life. Oh, I don't put it in a, like it's going to make it any better if you get pulled over. I mean, you don't have to have, like I said, you don't have to have a concealed weapons permit to carry a gun in an automobile. Okay? So it's, I mean, go get a concealed weapons permit, or just go to the gun shop. If you don't want a concealed weapons permit, go there, get proficient with your own gun. You can carry a gun if you're going to a range or something like that. But go there and shoot it, and then if you keep it in your car and you transport it from your car to your house, that's all good. That's all good. Yep. Okay? But when you start carrying it on your person and stuff like that, you got to have a concealed carry. And you could be sitting in Longhorns, Outback, anywhere. And a pissed off employee, a pissed off deranged husband who finds his wife there with another guy having cocktails. And you don't even have to be a target. But if you see a guy in there blasting rounds, you don't know where he's going next, so you might as well start taking shots. I mean, do you agree, Producer Jesse? AJ, do you agree?
Absolutely.
Are you going to start carrying your firearm?
Yes, sir.
Because that's our right as
I've
citizens.
actually got a job coming up at Walmart, so maybe I'll wear it at work.
I'll tell you. I mean, if I ever got a job at like Subway or 7-Eleven, I'd carry it too. I wouldn't care what the policy said. You know what I mean? Hey, Jesse showed me his. Looks like a terrorist photo. Why do those concealed weapons photos look like terrorist pictures, you know? What about yours, AJ? Does yours look like a terrorist? They make those concealed weapons permits pictures look like, again, Taliban.
What's wrong with that?
You look like a terrorist.
Some bad lighting on it.
Let me see mine. Because then we're going to wrap things up here. I got my little bag of tricks. Let me see what my concealed carry permit looks like. Let's see here.
It's better than my driver's.
Oh, yeah.
That's a terrorist.
Yeah, that looks like a terrorist.
Yeah, for sure.
Woo! But I'm telling you, people, because before things start changing, because these radical Democrats are going to try to come in and strip us of firearms and permits and everything else, get it before it gets attacked. I don't think they're never going to, the NRA is so strong, they're never going to battle the NRA. Never, never, ever going to happen. Okay? So, anyway.
Be safe out there.
Yeah.
And be aware of your surroundings.
That's coming from a civilian. That's coming from a guy who just uses common sense. I tell you, AJ.
Which this country lacks a lot of. I think that's part of the problem. A majority of the problem. The lack of common sense.
And for anybody that has no sense and blames anybody but the person who pulled the trigger, okay, mental illness, hatred is probably the key that pulls the trigger. Hatred outweighs all of it because these people hated a certain whatever it is, and then they're just going to fuel on. You know, like I said, they're going to say that's because of the president. He's mocking. You know, he's saying that all people from Mexico are criminals and drug dealers and everything else. And so, that's just dead wrong. But I want to thank everybody that tuned in today, this evening. Those that are going to tune in later and watch. We talked a little bit tonight about that are just tuning in. We talked about the mass shootings in Dayton, statistics involving the shootings throughout the year. And I'll tell you, if you ever just get curious, just go on and Google, the 2019 mass shootings, and list goes on and on and on. There's got to be, like I said, there was over 300 more days in the year, more shootings than days in the year already. So, final thoughts, AJ?
Be safe out there.
Carry.
Peace out.
Carry a gun. Good people need to carry guns because it's coming. Because that one day you wish you had yours, you could have stopped something, but instead, hopefully you're not a victim. So, or anybody you know personally. So, thanks to Space Coast Podcast and the luxurious studios
Producer Jesse
of Suntree, Vieira, Florida, and this is Vinnie And on behalf of AJ, the Who Bone, we want to thank everybody that tuned in, and have a safe weekend coming. Stay dry because our weather's been really terrible down here. So
Tune in next week.
We'll be coming up with more Talk Soup, and anything you guys want to suggest, bring it up. We'll talk to you then. Be safe. God bless.